So, in the final semester of my visual arts degree, we were given a group project. Now, I don't know about you, but I like working independently. It's less complicated. And I have full control of the outcome. And there's nothing wrong with that. Until we have to work with other people. Now, in that project, oof, I could feel my hackles rising, my fists clenching, and my whole body solidifying into a wall of frustration. Yeah, no, it ain't pretty. I'd like to tell you that we turned things around and created something wonderful. Yeah, no, that did not happen. No, we were way too concerned with our own creative ambitions. So we handed in individual assignments, and I swore off teamwork forever. I'm Stacey Olson-Steele, and I'm an organizational development professional, and now, these days, I help people work together better. So in my profession, we use research-based organizational design principles, and I've been sort of studying teamwork for most of my career. And it wasn't until my son was born about 10 years ago, right here in White Rock, that I started thinking about human potential and community and collaboration. So I'm super excited to be here today to share with you all why I am convinced that the collaboration is the future. So over the years, I've worked with great teams and some not so great teams and everything in between. And yeah, working together with other people, it is hard. Even more so since the pandemic, because we're confused by the rules of engagement. Even the best of us fumble when it comes to navigating equity, diversity, inclusion, mental health, truth and reconciliation, and that's just naming a few. I mean, really, we're more afraid of working together now just because of all these potential social landmines. And yeah, let me tell you, there have been many a time that I would like to pack my gear and head for the backcountry. But my dream of living a blissful life of solitude in a rustic little cabin in the woods is severely hampered by the fact that I cannot cook. No. So I know I need other people. And really, that's the crux of the matter, isn't it? We need others. No one person has all of the answers and all of the skills. So, got me thinking, what is it that takes to make collaboration work? You know, it even goes deeper than the fact that we just need other people. Humans are wired for connection. Yet disconnection is so rampant in our society that in 2023, the U.S. Surgeon General published an advisory on the healing effects of social connection and community. And in one of the studies they cited, researchers found that lonely employees miss 5 days of work more than their non-lonely counterparts. The researchers also found that this absenteeism because of loneliness is costing U.S. employers $154 billion. Billion. So disconnection is costing us far more than we even realize. So we know we need others. We know we crave human interaction. And we know that positive relationships are good, not just for us, but for business. So, how do we make working together a success instead of a failure? Well, first we can look to what makes a great team, because obviously collaboration happens with a group of people. And we can look at what makes a great team by looking at Project Aristotle, which of course, Google did this in 2012. They wanted to crack the code on what made a successful team. And so they studied 180 different teams over the course of 2 years. And after all that data, only 2 things emerged. 2, that's it. They found that successful teams give each other a turn to talk and show empathy with each other. That's it. That's what makes a successful team. But collaboration is so much more than a great team. How do we go from a team that produces to a team that innovates? What's the secret to tackling challenges and solving problems together? Well, after all these years, I am convinced that the answer is by letting go of expectations. Yeah, it's easy, not easy, I'm not sure. So I'm convinced that collaboration is what can take us from simply being a team to a place where we can harness our collective human potential. And when we do that, everybody benefits. Humanity flourishes. So let me bring it back and give you the 3 big ideas of collaboration. Number 1, invite everyone to contribute. And number 2, show support for one another. And number 3, the hard one, is to set aside your ego and expectations. So that's what makes collaboration work. I'm going to tell you a couple stories now to bring it on home into reality. So my very first professional job, I was the assistant at Chum Television in the web department. Now, Chum Television back in the day is a national media company. And so I worked with a team of 30 people. We built websites for channels like Much Music and City TV and Fashion Television. And it was the .com era. So everything was new and innovative. We were all equal pioneers on these projects. So everybody's opinion mattered. Even mine, the young, inexperienced assistant. So if I received a complaint from a website user, I'd take it on over to the web developer, and we would chat and brainstorm solutions together. I wasn't excluded from contributing, even though I didn't have any fancy tech skills. No, in that group, my voice was respected and heard. I belonged. So in that job, I learned that everybody needs an equal opportunity to contribute, because you never know who's going to bring the next idea to solve the solution or to get to the next solution. And my favorite team, so here's another story for you. My favorite team was a team of 7 women, and we still keep in touch even though we no longer work together. And one thing that created the strong bond that we still have today is this idea of sharing one good thing at the end of every weekly meeting. And it didn't have to be work-related. It could be anything. So if I was in the depths of an overwhelming project, my win was usually pretty small. Like, I heard my favorite song on the radio this morning. Because sometimes what we don't say speaks louder than what we do. Other times, my win was significant, and we all cheered. Like the time I finally got the printer working again. Yeah, in that team, in that group, I learned that, sharing good things with each other united us. It allowed us to support each other and keep each other on the positive end when things were not so great. Because even a small win sometimes is monumental. Now, that project in university, it failed so miserably because we couldn't make the leap from being a group, a team that cooperates to being a group that collaborates. We couldn't stop ourselves from white-knuckling that project steering wheel. And let me tell you, who was in the driver's seat? Our giant egos. So it was so intense that I doubt we even would have noticed if there was food in the room. It was that terrible. So when it gets tough, it helps to remember why we do collaboration in the first place, which is we collaborate to create something more amazing than what we alone could ever imagine. So when I say let go of expectations, I mean we all need to set our egos aside and make room for possibilities. It's the synergy of the group that creates the magic of collaboration. So I've recently become a fan of the Orpheus Chamber Orchestra, and I don't know if you've heard of them, but they're based out of New York, and they are an amazing example of collaboration. So they've been around 50 years, and they've produced 70 albums and won several Grammy Awards. And you know what? They do this all without a conductor. For 50 years, there's been no one person telling the musicians how the music should sound. And when I watch them practice on the internet, I notice that they share ideas, they listen to each other, and they try new things. What they do is not magic, but what they create together absolutely is. And wouldn't we all want to make beautiful music? Whether you're a business executive, an HR leader, or a community member on a committee, wouldn't it be great if your team was focused on innovating solutions with the inspired passion that we see out of musicians? I know I would. So the next time that you are faced with a collaborative project like I was, I urge you to try these 3 big ideas to help make your collaboration a success. Because when we do these 3 things, we enable our collective humanity, our creativity to flourish. So once again, collaboration starts with 3 big things. Number 1, invite everybody to contribute. Number 2, support one another. And number 3, set your ego and your expectations aside to make room for possibilities. Now, if after all this you're still on the fence, I highly recommend that you bring food to the meeting. I'm so glad to be here today. The future is collaborative.